Hey Fit Fam, it's Coach Rye from Team Flex. You are on the very first callouts. This is a new show that I'm doing to provide value for all you, give you guys some free insight, you ladies and gentlemen out there that compete on stuff you can do to aid you in your competition journey. We're going to talk about all kinds of different things to help you get that first call out. All right, and so today what I'm going to start the first episode off with is we're talking about pump ups and what you should do, kind of how, some of the problems, the do's and don'ts of the pre-stage pump up. So some of you, I don't know where everybody is watching this, so I'll kind of give a little bit of an overview. When you compete, right, you might be thinking about competing, maybe you've competed for a while. Regardless, what happens when you're done with your prep and it's competition day is that you got to pump up before you go on stage. This is for all divisions, all competitors, whether you're a male bodybuilder or a female bikini competitor, you got to pump up to get on stage. And the reason that you do the pump up is to make sure that you're accentuating your physique, your muscles not looking flat, you're out there performing and showing your best basically for when you're in front of the judges being scored. And that, having the ability to do a pump up correctly and not have some of the mistakes I'm going to talk about today will change the game for you. It can make the difference between first or last call out, seriously. And that's kind of crazy to say, but it is absolutely true, especially in a lot of the more muscular divisions like bodybuilding and, for some of the women's divisions, women's physique and figure, things like that. So what you got to know, right? Here's the problem. I go to so many different shows. I'm at I've been at, I don't even know how many shows even just this year, probably close to 50 or so different competitions this year alone. 2019, before that I was doing, tons. I've been to hundreds and hundreds of shows basically, and I'm always there as the coach or the sponsor or whatever, so I'm backstage and I can see what everybody's doing. I'm seeing what all the competitors are up to, their pump up routines and all this as they go. And so the problem is I see a lot of competitors doing the wrong stuff when they pump up. And what I mean by this is they're doing the wrong exercises. You got to know what the goal of a pump up is, okay? If you don't know what the goal of the pump up is, then you're likely to make a mistake. A lot of people think that you should just pump up every single muscle in your body, and in reality that's going to hurt you more than it's going to help you when you get onto stage. So the problem is people, frankly, don't understand how to pump up. They don't know what they're doing or why. I don't know if their coach doesn't know what's going on or if they even have a coach. Maybe they're just guessing. Maybe they're just taking a shot in the dark. But either way, the pump up should be very calculated and very meticulous, right? Like what you need to do is make sure you're accentuating the parts of your physique for your division. So, for example, bodybuilders, they need to make sure they pump up their arms and their shoulders and their lats and, all of that. They got to make sure they're pumping up every muscle. Bikini competitors really don't need to do that as much. They need to focus more on mainly shoulders, keeping their waist tight, things like that. Here's the number one mistake, though. I'll tell you right now, straight up, this is the problem. People always, I see this now, and I've seen it for a while, people are pumping up their legs. And I see bikini competitors doing squats and things like that backstage. Worst thing you can do for your physique, period, coming out on stage. I'll tell you that again. Pumping up your legs is the worst thing you can do for your physique. If you're in a bikini category, really any of these categories, figure, even in the male categories, do not pump up your legs. Dudes, you might need to pump up your calves, okay? You might need to get the calf pump going if your legs are, looking a little small and you're out of balance or something. But otherwise, don't pump up your legs. And here's why, okay? When you pump up, no matter what division, but this is especially true for the women's divisions and things like that, you got to make sure that you're pulling the blood up out of your legs. And the way that you do this is by pumping up the upper body, okay? So the goal of doing a pump up, literally, in the men and the women's divisions is to make sure that you are pulling the blood out of your legs so your legs will show defined lean and they will look good on stage. They're not going to be looking like they're holding water, holding any blood, right? Because if you pump up your legs, you're pulling the blood down into your legs now. You're taking it out of the upper body. You're going to make your upper body look drier, right? You might look leaner upper body, but your legs are going to be now watery, and your legs are a huge part of every single division we're talking about. You can't do great in bodybuilding, male bodybuilding, with poor legs. You can't do great in bikini with poor legs. And so what you got to do is pump up the upper bodies. Bikini competitors, women's division competitors in general, pump up your upper body and let your legs lean out, let your legs harden, let the muscle that you've built show through. and then go out on stage and really, show it off out there, rock it, and be, in the right mode, because you got the blood up here, which really made your upper body pop, and we got the legs showing, and they're popping too. And this is the same for the men in the male divisions. Men's physique obviously doesn't matter as much because they're not judged on their legs, they're wearing board shorts, but the point is, pump up the upper body and only pump up the upper body. Here's where I differentiate this sometimes for bikini girls. You might need to pump up your glutes just a little bit. And what you would do then is just a body weight kickback. But for sure, don't be doing any squats. Don't be doing any calf raises. Don't be doing anything like that that's going to pull blood down into your legs. Because again, I'll tell you it again, please make sure you're paying attention. If you're pumping up your legs, you're doing squats, you're doing lunges, you're doing all this stuff that I see competitors doing at shows, you are pulling blood into your legs, and you're going to make your legs look soft. You will make your legs look softer, and that is not going to help you when you go on stage. And now this is a huge problem, something I see all the time. I know a lot of coaches recommend it. A lot of coaches tell you to pump up your legs. A lot of athletes might not know what they're doing, and they're pumping up their legs. But here's what I want to do for you guys. If you go to my website right now, teamflex.com/pump-up, you can get my pump-up kind of regimen that I deal out to competitors I coach. Okay, it's not going to be precise. Everybody's pump-up needs to be different. I'm actually going to go into that in just a second. But I'm going to give you an idea of the exercise you need to be doing, right? Like stuff that you should be hitting for pretty much every single division, every category, and how you can do it, what order, what you need to do. I'm going to cover it a little bit here, but go over there and teamflex.com/pump-up and subscribe to the mailing list so that you can get that document, because that's huge. It's a huge, huge value add for you, and it will help you a ton on stage. I promise you that, okay? So other issues that, people come into when they pump up is the fact that they just have no idea how to better accentuate their physique for the division, okay? And so what I mean by this is, like, you're out there and you're in bikini, you need to know what the shape is the judges want to see, right? Like, don't be sitting there trying to do all these weird different ab exercises to make your obliques pop when that's not what they're looking for, okay? And I've seen that before. I've seen girls doing twists and all this weird stuff backstage. It's not helpful. It's actually going to hurt you. Most likely, if you're pumping up your waist, you're squaring out your physique. Bikini, they want an hourglass. They want the hourglass shape. So what do you actually need to pump up? The shoulders. You need to pump up the shoulders a lot. All kind of heads of the shoulders, upright rows, lateral raises, front raises, things like that. You can do a little bit of arms here and there. You don't need a ton. Bikini is very easy for a pump up. Your goal is to pull your blood up from your legs into your upper body and rock and roll with that, right? That's what you should be trying to do. That's what you need to do. Male divisions, same kind of gig, right? They don't understand that, like, in bodybuilding, you got to make your physique look the most symmetrical, the most balanced. That's with every division, but especially in bodybuilding, because we're at a whole different level of leanness, right? We're at a whole different level of muscularity. Like, you can see a lot more muscles. So you're going to really make sure that you're pumping up the right stuff to show your physique in the best way possible. And so that requires, like, hey, guess what? You might be a little asymmetrical, right? Like, a lot of bodybuilders have strong points and weaker points. They have areas they want to hide from the judges when they pose, and areas they want to accentuate because they're a really good point. So what you should be really trying to do is really accentuate those areas. Make sure you know what those are so that you can pump those up extra. If you have great arms, make your arms look even better coming out with a crazy pump, and distract them from the fact that you might not have a great hamstring or something like that. You know what I mean? And so what the point is you got to make sure your pump-ups are customized for you and your physique. You got to know how to better accentuate each part of your physique to really show it off in the best light, right? Because that's literally what judges are looking for when you go out on stage, is your flaw areas, your problem spots, your weak areas, the stuff that, you want to hide from them, basically, because they're going to see it and they're going to score you down for it. And the best way to place is to accentuate your physique in a really good way and, not actually show off any weak areas as much as you can, okay? So, the way we do our stuff at Team Flex is we build everything custom out for the athlete. The pump-ups have to be custom is really what I'm saying. You can't just, like, wing it and take a guess at what you're doing. You need to really do it for your physique. As a coach, what we do is we're looking at athletes, 16, 12, 8, 4 weeks out, and especially in peak week, seeing how the physique looks, seeing what areas are, maybe a little bit stronger, some of the weaker spots we want to hide, how are we going to better accentuate it, and we're customizing those pump-ups to make sure that it fits their physique. So they're going to go out, they're going to show their best, they're going to be accelerating their best parts and hopefully hiding some of the weaker ones if they have it. Every competitor, don't care who you are, your favorite Olympians, everybody has strong points and weaker points. That's the sport of bodybuilding. That's what it's all about, right? That's why we continue this process. Like most people compete forever, and they're going to compete for the rest of their life, and they make bodybuilding a lifestyle because you can always improve it, you can always get better, always accelerate forward. So you got these points. What you need to make sure you do is that you accentuate them. You pose in the right way for one, and then you pump up the areas that are going to make your pose look even better, okay? So it's super important that you know how to do that. It's super important that you're paying attention to the fact that, hey, guess what? I'm going to tell you straight up, you shouldn't be pumping up your legs. Don't pump up your legs no matter what division you are. I guarantee you, you will look better when you go on stage. You will place better when you go on stage. Because if you're putting blood down into those legs, you can guarantee they're going to look softer. They're not going to actually look harder or anything, because when the blood goes down, your body's already being pulled down all the time by gravity. Blood's always being pulled down here, right? That's why when a lot of people think they're flat, it's in their shoulders or, you know, for some guys in their chest, things like that. But the point is they feel like they're flat, and realistically, the blood's just pulling down to the lower body. Gravity's always doing this. So when we pump up, we want to pump up in a way that we're going to pull the blood up, fill out these muscles, really show them off, and it pulls it out of your legs so your legs look lean, shapely, and exactly how they need to be. No matter what division you're in, if you've done the work on prep and you've gone into this peak week and now you're at the pump up moment and you did the work the whole time and you got those muscles to show off, it's going to work great for you. I guarantee you. Pump up the upper body, skip on the legs. Stop doing the leg pump. Please stop doing it, because you're just killing your scoring. You're killing your placing, and it's so unfortunate to see that. All right, and so I just want to make this video today on first call-outs for you guys, you ladies, all you out there that are watching this. Maybe you're competing, you want to compete, whatever it is, give you an idea of stuff that we're going to talk about. I'm going to be talking about everything in here to help you get those first call-outs, help you get to the top of your division, your top of your class, whatever you're trying to do, help you become a better competitor. That's what first call-outs, this show is all about. So please, if you got anything out of this, please share the video for me, spread the word, help other people out with that. Subscribe to my channel. I got tons of great content. These are coming every week, by the way, if I haven't said it yet. Every single Wednesday, I'll be right here doing this content, more first call-outs, more stuff related to competing just for you. And remember, if you want some more stuff right here, if you want my kind of pump-up cheat sheet, go to my website, teamfflex.com/pump-up, and you can get the pump-up cheat sheet where it's going to show you exactly the way that you should probably be starting to pump up, at least a good starting template, and you can adjust, you can adapt based on everything else I told you. Feel free to hit me with questions anytime. Ryan at teamfflex.com. Thank you for watching. Coach Rye is out.